For decades, we've been told that as men age, certain health declines are simply inevitable. The conventional wisdom suggests that after 60, decreased energy, circulation problems, and intimate health issues are just part of getting older. But what if I told you that one of the most significant threats to men's health after 60 isn't age itself, but something far more controllable? Something that millions of men do for hours every single day without realizing the devastating impact it's having on their bodies. Today, I want to share with you a critical health revelation that urologists are seeing more frequently in their practices. The evidence is mounting, and the science is clear. Prolonged sitting after age 60 is silently destroying men's health in ways that go far beyond what most people realize. This isn't just about back pain or stiff joints. We're talking about a cascade of physiological changes that affect everything from cardiovascular health to hormonal balance, from circulation to intimate function. The research coming out of major medical institutions is startling. Men who sit for more than 6 hours daily after age 60 show dramatically increased rates of prostate problems, circulation disorders, and metabolic dysfunction. But here's what's even more concerning. Most men have no idea this is happening until the damage has already taken hold. Let me paint you a picture of what happens inside a man's body when he sits for extended periods, particularly after the age of 60. When you're seated, your hip flexors shorten and tighten. Your glutes essentially shut off, becoming what physiologists call dormant or dead. Your posture collapses forward, compressing your chest cavity and reducing lung capacity. But these visible changes are just the tip of the iceberg. Deep inside your body, sitting triggers a series of reactions that specifically target the systems men rely on most. Your blood pools in your lower extremities, reducing the efficient circulation that's crucial for prostate health. The pressure on your pelvic floor increases dramatically, creating what urologists refer to as chronic pelvic congestion. This congestion doesn't just affect comfort, it fundamentally alters how blood flows through the entire pelvic region. When blood flow becomes sluggish in the pelvic area, several critical things happen simultaneously. First, the prostate gland, which is already naturally enlarging as men age, begins to experience what doctors call venous pooling. This means blood accumulates in the tiny vessels around the prostate instead of flowing freely. Over time, this pooling creates an environment where inflammation can take hold and thrive. The prostate gland requires excellent circulation to function optimally. It's one of the most metabolically active organs in the male body, constantly producing the fluids that make up a significant portion of seminal fluid. When circulation becomes compromised through prolonged sitting, the prostate's ability to clear waste products and maintain healthy cellular function becomes impaired. This is why urologists are seeing increased rates of prostatitis and benign prostatic hyperplasia in men who have sedentary lifestyles. But the circulatory problems extend far beyond the prostate. When you sit for hours, the large muscles in your legs, particularly your quadriceps and glutes, stop contracting regularly. These muscles act as secondary pumps for your circulatory system, helping to push blood back toward your heart against the force of gravity. Without this muscular assistance, your heart has to work significantly harder to maintain adequate circulation throughout your body. This increased cardiac workload is particularly problematic for men over 60, whose cardiovascular systems are already dealing with age-related changes. The heart muscle may have slightly reduced elasticity, and the arteries may have some degree of stiffening. When you add the extra burden of poor circulation from prolonged sitting, you create a perfect storm for cardiovascular complications. Research from the American Heart Association shows that men who sit more than 6 hours daily have a 20% higher risk of heart disease compared to those who sit for 3 hours or less. But for men over 60, this risk multiplies dramatically because their cardiovascular systems are less resilient and less able to compensate for the additional stress. The hormonal implications of prolonged sitting are equally concerning and often overlooked. When men sit for extended periods, particularly in positions that create pressure on the perineum, the area between the scrotum and anus, they can compress what's known as the pudendal nerve. This nerve plays a crucial role in sexual function and sensation. Chronic compression of this nerve can lead to numbness, reduced sensation, and functional problems that many men mistakenly attribute to normal aging. Additionally, prolonged sitting affects testosterone production in subtle but significant ways. The testes require a specific temperature range to produce testosterone optimally. When men sit for long periods, especially in warm environments or while wearing tight clothing, the scrotal temperature increases beyond the optimal range. While the immediate effect might seem minor, chronic elevation of scrotal temperature can lead to reduced testosterone production over time. Testosterone levels naturally decline as men age, typically dropping by about 1% per year after age 30. However, lifestyle factors like prolonged sitting can accelerate this decline significantly. Lower testosterone levels don't just affect libido and energy, they impact muscle mass, bone density, mood, and cognitive function. This creates a cascade effect where reduced testosterone leads to decreased motivation for physical activity, which leads to more sitting, which further suppresses testosterone production. The lymphatic system, which is responsible for removing waste products and toxins from tissues, also suffers dramatically from prolonged sitting. Unlike the circulatory system, which has the heart as a central pump, the lymphatic system relies entirely on muscle contractions and body movement to function properly. When men sit for hours without adequate movement, lymphatic drainage becomes sluggish, particularly in the pelvic region. Poor lymphatic drainage in the pelvis contributes to inflammation and can exacerbate prostate problems. It also affects the body's ability to fight infections and maintain optimal immune function. This is why men who sit for long periods often experience more frequent urinary tract infections and take longer to recover from illnesses. The mechanical stress of sitting also creates problems with spinal alignment that have far-reaching effects on men's health. When you sit, especially in chairs that don't provide adequate lumbar support, your spine curves unnaturally. This places excessive pressure on the intervertebral discs and can lead to nerve compression. But the effects go beyond back pain. Spinal nerve compression, particularly in the lumbar region, can affect the nerves that control bladder function, bowel function, and sexual response. The autonomic nervous system, which controls these involuntary functions, has major pathways that run through the lower spine. When these pathways are compressed or irritated by poor posture from prolonged sitting, it can lead to a range of symptoms that men often don't connect to their sitting habits. Many men over 60 start experiencing what they describe as urgency issues with urination. They feel the need to urinate more frequently, sometimes with little warning. While this is often attributed to prostate enlargement, prolonged sitting can be a significant contributing factor by affecting the nerve signals between the bladder and the brain. The digestive system also suffers when men sit for extended periods. Sitting compresses the abdominal organs and can slow gastric motility, the process by which food moves through the digestive tract. This can lead to constipation, bloating, and poor nutrient absorption. For men over 60, who may already be dealing with slower digestion due to age-related changes, prolonged sitting can significantly worsen these problems. Constipation might seem like a minor issue, but for men, it can have serious implications for prostate health. When the rectum is full of stool, it puts direct pressure on the prostate gland, which sits just in front of the rectum. This pressure can worsen symptoms of prostate enlargement, and contribute to discomfort and urinary problems. The metabolic consequences of prolonged sitting are perhaps the most underappreciated aspect of this health crisis. When large muscle groups remain inactive for hours, they stop effectively taking up glucose from the bloodstream. This leads to elevated blood sugar levels and, over time, can contribute to insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. For men over 60, who are already at higher risk for diabetes, prolonged sitting significantly increases this risk. Diabetes, in turn, affects circulation, nerve function, and healing capacity. It's particularly devastating for men's intimate health because it can damage the small blood vessels and nerves that are crucial for normal sexual function. The psychological effects of prolonged sitting are equally important but often overlooked. When men spend most of their day sitting, they're typically in passive, often isolated positions. This can contribute to feelings of lethargy, depression, and reduced self-confidence. The lack of physical activity also reduces the production of endorphins, the body's natural mood elevators. For men over 60 who may already be dealing with retirement adjustments, health concerns, or social isolation, the mood effects of prolonged sitting can be particularly pronounced. Depression and anxiety can create a vicious cycle where men feel less motivated to be active, leading to even more sitting and further deterioration of both physical and mental health. The solution to this crisis isn't complicated, but it does require a fundamental shift in how men over 60 approach their daily routines. The human body is designed for movement, and even small amounts of regular activity can begin to reverse many of the negative effects of prolonged sitting. The key is understanding that the body needs movement throughout the day, not just a single exercise session. Even if you exercise vigorously for an hour in the morning, sitting for the remaining 8 to 10 hours of your day will still have negative health effects. This concept, known as active sitting or movement throughout the day, is becoming increasingly important in preventive health care. Simple strategies can make dramatic differences. Standing and walking for just 2 minutes every hour can significantly improve circulation and reduce many of the negative effects of sitting. This doesn't mean you need to take a long walk. Even standing up, doing some gentle stretches, or walking to the kitchen for a glass of water can be beneficial. For men who work at desks, investing in a standing desk or a desk converter that allows alternating between sitting and standing can be life-changing. The goal isn't to stand all day, which can create its own problems, but to vary your position regularly throughout the day. Pelvic floor exercises, often called Kegel exercises, are particularly beneficial for men over 60 who have been sitting for long periods. These exercises help strengthen the muscles that support the bladder, bowel, and sexual function. They can also improve circulation in the pelvic region and help counteract some of the negative effects of prolonged sitting on prostate health. The beauty of pelvic floor exercises is that they can be done anywhere, even while sitting. By contracting and releasing the muscles you would use to stop urination midstream, you can improve blood flow to the entire pelvic region and strengthen the muscles that tend to weaken with age and prolonged sitting. Hydration plays a crucial role in counteracting the effects of prolonged sitting. When you're sedentary, circulation slows, and the body's natural processes for moving fluids and waste products become less efficient. Drinking adequate water helps maintain blood volume and support circulation, even when you're not moving as much as you should be. However, many men over 60 reduce their water intake because they're concerned about frequent urination, especially if they're already dealing with prostate issues. This creates a counterproductive cycle where dehydration makes circulation problems worse, which can actually worsen urinary symptoms in the long run. The timing of meals and the types of foods you eat while sitting for long periods can also make a significant difference. Large, heavy meals consumed while sedentary can worsen digestive problems and contribute to blood sugar spikes. Instead, Smaller, more frequent meals with adequate protein and fiber can help maintain steady energy levels and support better metabolic function, even during periods of necessary sitting. Anti-inflammatory foods become particularly important for men who must sit for extended periods. Foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids, such as fatty fish, walnuts, and flax seeds, can help counteract some of the inflammatory effects of prolonged sitting. Colorful fruits and vegetables provide antioxidants that support circulation and help protect against the cellular damage that can result from reduced activity. The temperature of your sitting environment also matters more than most people realize. Sitting in warm environments while wearing heavy clothing can exacerbate the temperature-related effects on testosterone production and overall comfort. Cooler environments and breathable clothing can help maintain optimal physiological function even during necessary periods of sitting. For men over 60 who are dealing with existing health issues, the approach to reducing sitting time may need to be more gradual and carefully planned. Those with heart conditions, joint problems, or balance issues should work with their healthcare providers to develop safe strategies for increasing movement throughout the day. The encouraging news is that the body's ability to respond positively to increased movement doesn't diminish significantly with age. Men in their 70s and 80s can still see meaningful improvements in circulation, energy, and overall health when they reduce prolonged sitting and increase regular movement throughout the day. Technology can be a valuable ally in this effort. Fitness trackers, smartphone apps, and even simple timers can remind you to stand and move regularly. Some devices can be set to vibrate every hour as a movement reminder, making it easier to develop new habits. The social aspect of reducing prolonged sitting shouldn't be overlooked either. Men over 60 often benefit from activities that combine movement with social interaction. Walking groups, gardening clubs, or even standing meetings can provide both the physical activity needed to counteract sitting and the social connection that supports overall mental health. Sleep quality often improves dramatically when men reduce prolonged sitting during the day. The increased circulation, improved mood, and better metabolic function that come from regular movement throughout the day all contribute to more restful sleep. Better sleep, in turn, supports hormone production, immune function, and overall energy levels. The impact on family relationships can be profound as well. Men who feel more energetic and confident due to better health are more likely to engage actively with their spouses, children, and grandchildren. The improved mood and reduced health anxieties that come from taking control of sitting habits can strengthen family bonds and improve quality of life for everyone. For men who are skeptical about the significance of sitting as a health issue, I encourage you to try a simple experiment. Pay attention to how you feel after sitting for several hours compared to how you feel after a day when you've moved regularly. Notice your energy levels, your mood, your comfort, and your sleep quality. The difference is often more dramatic than people expect. The most important message I want to leave you with is that it's never too late to start making changes. Your body has a remarkable capacity to respond positively to better habits, regardless of your age or how long you've been dealing with the effects of prolonged sitting. The men who see the most dramatic improvements are often those who start making changes in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s. The health challenges that come with prolonged sitting after 60 are serious, but they're also largely preventable and often reversible. By understanding the science behind these problems and taking simple, consistent action to address them, you can maintain and even improve your health, energy, and quality of life well into your later years. Remember, small changes made consistently over time create the most lasting results. You don't need to transform your entire life overnight. Start with standing up every hour, take short walks when possible, and gradually build more movement into your daily routine. Your body will thank you. Your family will notice the difference, and you'll likely be surprised by how much better you can feel simply by sitting less and moving more throughout each day.